All right. I'd like to start off by saying Barakatah Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachakwadash.
All right.
Welcome to another live lesson. The name of this one is You Got the Wrong Keys, Man. Where them keys? Give me them keys. Inside joke. I got the title from the Elder Pastor. From a video, the last video he had done. And few precepts started coming to mind, so I decided to jump on it. And pretty much you have, the world has the scriptures. The Bible is the truth. And the words of the Most High are in the Bible. And the Bible is the word of the Most High. And pretty much the world just has the wrong interpretation of the truth that is contained within the Bible. When we go to 2 Peter, right, let's start off with 2 Peter. By the way, we just got back last night from Milwaukee. Beautiful brothers out there, beautiful. The place, the area, everything was beautiful, man. Had a beautiful time with them brothers out there. Only thing is that them damn Mediterranean restaurants, trash. I mean, the food, the Mediterranean restaurants out there, the food is trash. It's like Edomite, food, it's horrible. Even, better, we thought it because we were in a better area would be better, but trash. But, we had a beautiful time with those brothers. Trying to remember the scripture that I was trying to go to. Oh, it was 2 Peter, the first chapter. Okay, so yeah, man. That's a nice state. A lot of they have a lot of stuff out there, We did an on location in this park that is frequented by a lot of witches, But nevertheless, 2 Peter 1:20, knowing this first, that no prophecy of the scriptures of any private interpretation. And this is why when you read about Yahushua, he kept saying, he that hath ears to hear, let him hear. Because people hear the words that are coming out. People can read the scriptures, but they don't hear spiritually. Scriptures speak about the carnal man will not receive the things of the spirit because they are spiritually discerned. So no prophecy of the scriptures of any private interpretation, because as I was meditating on this, matter of fact, I started watching the brothers in New York. They were doing a sit down in their car. The brother, the young elder Yarzayan, the brother Yawasap and Qadar Shapat, they were in the car. I don't think there was anybody else in there. It was just them three. And they were I forget what they were saying, but that kind of gave me more spiritual ammunition for the lesson because I started thinking about the doctrine in general, because you have this doctrine that is being taught, and there is one truth in the world. There are many people that claim to have the truth. There are many people that are out there teaching. There are many people out there that in most cases, they sincerely believe that what they're teaching is the truth, but they're wrong, and one of the main keys in this truth is the name or are the names of Yahweh and Yahweh Shai. You had the video that the elder Apostle Tahar did he was highlighting this one, Jake chick. And pretty much, she was getting kind of close, but then she was so close, but yet so far away. Because she was, Yahushua, Yahuwah, or however she was saying it. But she doesn't believe that if you don't call on those names that you can't be saved or something along those lines. So you're pretty much removing certain keys from the scriptures. Remember what Yahushua said to them wicked Pharisees and them. The main one is in Matthew the 23rd chapter. But this one here is kind of heavy too in Luke 11, which, usually when I go to this particular scripture, I usually always go to the book of is it that one? I usually go to the book of Matthew 23. Thought it was Luke 11. Let me see. Because the way that it's worded, it's pretty heavy. Nope, it's not that one. How was that worded? Let me see. Let me just do it this way. Let me just do it this way. Let's go to the book of Matthew, right? 23. And let's see, because sometimes they'll put precepts on here. And if you don't have the precepts, right, Matthew 23:13, but woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for you shut up the kingdom of heaven against men, for you neither go in yourselves, neither suffer ye them that are entering to go in. Now let's see, since it doesn't have any precepts there. Yeah, Luke 11:52. Let me see. Matter of fact, let's click on it. Luke 11:52. What the hell is going on here, man? Right here. Woe unto you, lawyers, for you have taken away the key. Okay, I put keys instead of key. You have taken away the key of knowledge. You entered not in yourselves, and them that were entering in, you hindered. And what is the way that you can hinder them? By giving the false names, giving them different names, giving them Christ and Jesus and all that, and giving them the wrong breakdown of the scriptures. Because you have many people out there that are teaching the scriptures. They have the truth, the Bible, but they don't have the true understanding of what the scriptures are, because there's only one way. There's only one way. All right, Ephesians chapter 4, we'll start at 1. I therefore, the prisoner of the Lord, beseech you that you walk worthy of the vocation or the calling wherewith you are called. Yeah, the word vocation is where you get the word voice or calling. Convocation. Con is with, vocation is calling, with calling. With all lowliness and meekness and long suffering, forbearing one another in love. Endeavoring to keep the what? The unity of the spirit in the bond of peace. Unity and bond is very important, because you can't have a unity camp if the particular people that are attending the unity camp all have different beliefs. The purpose of unity is to unify everything into one, not just to come together because we're all Israelites. The Apostle Paul spoke about being perfect. We speak this wisdom among them that are perfect. What does it mean, speaking this wisdom among them that are perfect? Meaning among them that are perfect in understanding. Because not everybody's going to get this truth. This is why the way to Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai is very narrow. Let's go real quick to Matthew 7, and then we'll jump back. Matthew 7:13. It says here, the narrow and wide gates. And that's pretty much what it is, narrow and wide gates. You have the narrow gate, you have the wide gate. It's easier to navigate through a wider gate than it is to navigate through a straight gate or a position of difficulty. You have in navigation ships that go through waters, they go through not peninsulas, they go through gulfs, they go through oceans, they go through rivers and lakes and all that. And then you also have those that go through something called straits, the Straits of Hormuz and different straits out there, which is when the lands come together and there's a very narrow passage of water that goes through. And if you're not an expert navigator of that ship, you can run the ship aground, you can run it into the side, you can run it into the stones and rocks on the side and sink that ship if you don't know how to navigate through that strait. It's very difficult. You have to be an expert, at what you're doing. And that's what this truth is likened to. Right? It says, enter ye in at the straight gate. Now, if you look at this word straight, it's not spelled like going straight ahead because it doesn't have the GH in it. It's spelled S-T-R-A-I-T, not S-T-R-A-I-G-H-T. That the GHT one is when you go straight ahead. This one is when you're dealing with a position of difficulty, a hard place to navigate through. All right. It says, enter ye in at the straight gate. Didn't say enter at the wide. That's why it says, follow not a multitude to do evil. Why? Because you can't just follow what the crowd follows, because if the crowd could be doing something that's wicked. And for the most time, anytime there's a big mass crowd, into something, best believe that 99.99999% of the time it's something that's wicked or something that's wrong. And very few would go, where there was a smaller crowd, because the consensus of the world, especially dealing with Jake, they have what they call the herd mentality. Let's see what that says, herd mentality. Let's see what the definition of that is, so you can get it. And I hate the herd mentality. Me myself, right? It says the tendency for people's behavior or beliefs to conform to those of the group to which they belong. See, so they're just leaning or just moving in the direction that everybody else is moving. Let's see if we got something else here. Let me see. The herd mentality, also investment, as well as instead of making independent. Right. The herd mentality can also be seen in investments as well. Instead of making independent decisions, many will make moves depending on emotions and instinct, or they may make their decisions on the decisions of someone else. That's why it's easy to lead Jake. Jake are sheep. Sheep are very easy to lead. Herd mentality is a tendency for people's behavioral beliefs to conform to those of the group they belong to. That concept, herd mentality, been studied and analyzed. I'm trying to see if they got something a little. Right. It says the tendency of people in a group to conform with others rather than as individuals. Right. They'll see a gang of people, and then they'll be moved to go with the consensus of the masses without having any critical input or thought of their own. Herd mentality is when people adopt the beliefs, I like this one, behaviors or attitudes of the majority in a group, often at the expense of their own judgment or individuality. This is the true and proper definition of that. It ain't just following your group that you belong to. It's just following the majority consensus or the majority belief. Herd mentality, and when I go to places, when I go to like anywhere, I go to a store, if I go to a supermarket, if I go to one of them boxes, wherever I go, I try to park as far away and as where there's nobody parked at. I do that on purpose. I like to just park away from people. I don't like people, and then sure enough, I find a nice spot where there's like 15, 20 parking spaces. And then there might be maybe 10 parking spaces behind me that are not occupied, maybe 15 in front of me that are not occupied. I mean, there's plenty of spaces everywhere. And sure enough, by the time I come out that fucking store, some asshole parks right next to me. You see? And I akin that to herd mentality. So like I'm getting a little emotional, because it's true. I'm like, out of all this parking you have here, why the fuck do you have to park right next to me? But that's that herd mentality, following the group, and that's going to lead you to your own destruction, So Matthew 7:13, Salaki, I went on a little rant there, but I just trying to prove a point. So enter ye in at the straight gate, not the herd mentality. For wide is the gate and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction. So wide is the gate and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction. So if you're a spiritual Israelite, right, and you're reading this, and you're looking at these different Israelite groups, most Israelites, right, without that keen spiritual sense, they'll look at the group that is the most famous and has the most members and gravitate to that. They won't look at the ragtag group. They won't look at the one that everybody looks down upon. No, I don't want to be a part of that. Nah, I already got enough problems in my life, man. I don't need to be down with that. You know, I got enough haters in my corner, you know, to mess with me. I don't need to be down with them guys. I'm talking about GMS, okay? I'm naming names today. GMS, right? They don't want to be associated with Great Millstone, because Great Millstone is associated with trash. You know, we're associated with, you know, with being the bottom of the barrel, the worst Israelite camp out there. And people don't understand. They think that's an insult. We look at that as a great honor. You know, we'll gladly be that used wrapper that somebody throws to the side. You know, the little thing that the lid that you peel off of a bottle and throw away. We'll be that. We'll be that. You know, because that's exactly where the Lord was back then, and that's exactly where the men of the Lord would be today. So it says, and many there be which what go in thereat. Many there be that go in thereat. Let's get one more. I want to keep that. Hopefully I can remember what I was going to get. Let me see. Yep. Let's go to 2 Peter chapter 2. The point is in the second verse, but I'm going to start at 1. But there were false prophets also among the people. That's why it says that you're supposed to, you know, try the spirits, whether they are of the Lord or not. Even as there shall be false teachers among you. So reading this, we already have the right, proper instructions, you know, as to what to expect in this knowledge. Who privily or privately shall bring in what? Damnable heresies. Right. And then what do? They get in the ear of this one, they get in the ear of that one. You know, what you think about this, brother? You know, because I see it this way. You know, I know what the apostle said. I know what the elder said, but this is how I see it. What you think about that, brother? You know, matter of fact, don't tell nobody. Even denying the Lord that bought them, and you have a lot of Israelites today that's denying the faith. They're denying Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. They're denying the faith. They're ashamed of the gospel. It says, and bring upon themselves swift destruction, because although it seemed like it's tarrying, that destruction is going to come upon you swift. Because remember, the Lord's time is different from our time. You know, we could be like, damn, man, to us, swift destruction would be like seconds, minutes, no more than an hour. But to the Lord, you know, he could have 10 years as a swift destruction upon somebody, or 5 years, or a year, or a month, or something like that. You know, but to us, we thinking that right away, you know. But eventually, the Lord's going to get them. It says, and what? And many shall follow their pernicious ways. See? Because they're heading down the road to destruction. That's why Yahweh said, they be leaders of the blind lead the blind. They shall both of them what? Fall in a ditch. It says, and many shall follow their pernicious ways, by reason of whom the way of truth shall be evil spoken of. See? So you have the truth, and then you have falsities out there. You know, false prophets, false teachers. Now, let's go back. Matthew 7:14, it says, because straight is the gate, and narrow is the way which leadeth unto life, and few there be that find it. So if you're a person that has any spiritual insight, and you read something like this, and you look at the IUIC and how great and big the numbers are and all that, you would think like, I don't know. I mean, I'm reading the scriptures. I don't think the Lord would be dealing with even though you know we believe that you may have some of the elect among them that the Lord will remove from them, but for the most part, the Lord ain't dealing with the most famous groups out there. He ain't dealing with the most liked, you know, the ones that got the heart of the community. You know, remember, Yahushua was more hated than he was loved. You know. Now let's go from there. Let's go to Ephesians chapter 4 and verse 3. Endeavoring to keep the unity of the Spirit in the bond of peace. Unity and bond means togetherness. Doesn't mean coming together because everybody is an Israelite, but we all have different beliefs and different doctrines. So therefore, if somebody comes up and asks a question, depending on who's giving them the answer, that's the understanding that they're going to get. And then the other individual is standing by that may not believe in that, he ain't going to say nothing because they don't want to rock the boat. They want to be PC. It says, there is one body, one means one, and one spirit, one means one. Even as you are called in one hope of your calling, one Lord, one faith, one baptism, one power, and Father of all, who is above all and through all and in you all. So the bottom line is there's only one way. But you have a lot of different, people out there that because you now more than ever back let's say 10, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, the average so-called Christian, they were what? They were singing and dancing, talking about how great the sermon the pastor taught. What did he teach about? I don't know, girl, but he was getting down. It's all about games and like Elder Pastor uses the word pageantry. They like the glitz and the glamour, and all the theatrics. They're not looking at the truth of what's being said, if it's true or not. They're just looking at the theatrics and it sounds good. Well, that's how most Israelites are. They're into the sound good, look good effect, but they're not, scrutinizing, analyzing, critiquing, spiritually what's going on, because they are critiquing, they are scoffing, but they're scoffing in the wrong way. They're not looking at it from the perspective of, okay, well, they said this, but in this scripture it says so and so. They're looking at it more so as a scoffing. And then when they bring out a precept and you explain what that precept means, they're like, no, that's what my pastor taught me, that's what my nana taught me, that's what I'm gonna go with. So it shows you that they're nothing but a fool. Teach a wise man, he will be wiser, Anyways, let's get back to the keys. So Luke 11:52, woe unto you, lawyers, for you have taken away the key of knowledge. And that's the point, the key of knowledge. The key of knowledge begins with what? The names of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. That's why in Proverbs, the 30th chapter says, what is his name? What is his son's name? If thou canst tell. Because the world would not be able to tell. Because it is a mystery. Just like the mystery of the Gentiles is a great mystery. Because people think that the mystery of the Gentiles is talking about, because what's so mysterious about knowing that the other nations are heathens or Gentiles? There's no mystery in that. That's all. That is well known. Inside joke, but true. So what is that mystery? The mystery is that these Gentiles are Israelite foreigners that fell away during the time of the Greek Empire, and they became Hellenized. They became uncircumcised. They became heathen, and they passed that on to their sons and daughters and so on, all the way up until the time of Yahushai and the apostles and the apostle Paul and them. That's the great mystery. And now the door of mercy and the door of mercy and the door of reconciliation has been opened back up to them. That's the mystery. It says, you entered not in yourselves, and them that are entering in ye hindered. Now, when we look up this word key, the word there's kleis, a key, since the keeper of the keys has the power to open and to shut, and that's who? Yahushai. Because all power was given to him, right? Metaphorically, in the New Testament, to denote power and authority of various kinds. So if there's power and authority of various kinds, that means that power and authority which was given by Yahushua was given to somebody, right? So let's go from there real quick to Matthew 16. and 18. I started at 17. And Yahushua answered and said unto him, Blessed art thou, Simon Bar-Jonah, this is Peter, for flesh and blood have not revealed it unto thee, but my Father which is in heaven. And that is one of the keys also. If it's not revealed from heaven, right, it's not authorized. Let's go real quick to James, the first chapter. I like the way James put it. I'm not sure the exact verses be. Just work with me here. Let me just do it this way, just to save a little time. James 1, I started at 16. Do not err, my beloved brethren. And a brother just did a lesson based off of this scripture. Forget who it was. I'm not sure if it was the brother Micah Allah from LA or one of them brothers. It says, every good gift and every perfect gift is what? From above. It says, and cometh down from the Father of lights, with whom is no variableness, neither shadow of turning. All right. It says, of his own will begat he us with the word of truth. So we were begotten, or we became born again once the seed of the word entered into our minds, that we should be a kind of first fruits of his creatures, right? Because you have the first fruits, which are the first spirits created that were to receive this. Now, the other one is in, which just came to mind, St. John chapter 3 and verse 27, is it? Yep. John answered and said, a man can receive nothing except it be given him from heaven. Why? Because it is a gift. We have to remember that. It is a gift. So back in Matthew 16:17, and Yahushua answered and said unto him, Blessed art thou, Simon Bar-Jonah, for flesh and blood have not revealed it unto thee, but my Father which is in heaven. And it is true to this day. Because at one time we were all blinded until the Lord reopened it. And what did he say during this time? Because Jake knew that they were Israelites back then, but they were going off. The scriptures speak about blessed is he that cometh in the name of the Lord, which was what? Beginning with John the Baptist. Then Yahushua came on the scene, which was followed up, the beginning of the ministry that was taught by John the Baptist. And these times when we were all in darkness, what happened? The cycle started all over again. Yeah, the man by the name of Elder Abba Bivens, which, if you can believe it, we believe that's John the Baptist / Elijah the prophet, and many other great men, which were brought up in this, time to bring us back to the Father and bring us back out of that darkness. Now, the other Israelites didn't receive that upgrade. Let's go real quick to 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 3. Hopefully, it's making sense and it's edifying, hopefully it doesn't sound too, 2 Corinthians 4 and 3, but if our gospel be hid, it is hid to them that are lost. See? In whom the God of this world hath blinded the minds of them which believe not. Why? Because the Father of lights did not illuminate his word in them. So they follow the light of Satan. They follow the light of this world. They follow what they call a Christian worldview. We don't accept your Christian worldview. We don't accept your authority. We accept the authority of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. And we get ridiculed for that, mocked for that, but that's okay. Because they mocked Yahushai back then. They mocked the apostles back then. Because they were saying that you were coming with your own interpretation, just like they're doing today. But that's okay. All right. At least the light of the glorious gospel of Yahushua, who is the image of the Most High, should shine unto them. And what would happen? The Lord would have to heal them. For we preach not ourselves, but Yahushua the Lord, and ourselves your servants for Yahushua's sake. For the Most High, who commanded the light to shine out of darkness, going back to the beginning, have shined in our hearts to give the light of the knowledge of the glory of the Most High in the face of Yahushua Mashiach. Boom. Bottom line, that's it. So going back here to Matthew 16 and 18 now, and I say unto thee that thou art Peter, and upon this rock I will build my church, and the gates of hell shall not prevail against it. Meaning, you're not going to be able to stop this. Esau, you can't stop it. Vocab, Devil Malone, you can't stop this. Abu, you demon, you can't stop this. None of you demons out there can stop this. And you see, I got to give credit to James White, the Edomite, because he said, man, I ain't dealing with these guys. He tried. He came with that bullshit, well, let's debate this, and now, and what is the right manuscript to follow, and this, that's what Esau's good at, that bullshit, them different theological terms. The Lord ain't dealing with that madness, man. You got the wrong keys, man. The Lord ain't dealing with that, man. Debating this, this manuscript, and that. He ain't with that. He's with dealing with his word, his truth, defending the gospel, the good news. What's the good news? The good news ain't, okay, well, this manuscript over here. No. What's the good news? The good news is we fell away from the grace of the Lord, and Yahushua came back to adopt us back to the Father, the Israelites. That's the good news. Once again, we have an opportunity through mercy of Yahushua to get back to the Father. Boom. That's the gospel. And then the other, like the prophecies and all that, that's all a part of the gospel too, because these are things that would have to happen prior to the Lord coming back. And that's how you measure the time. That's how we build up our faith. By seeing these things happening worldwide, knowing that we're getting closer and closer and closer. And I will give unto thee the keys of the kingdom of heaven. See, meaning he had the power of the authority. And these devils, they say, well, the Roman Catholic Church, the bishops, they all, the popes, they all go back to the beginning. We got their authority from Peter. No, you didn't. Peter wasn't teaching no goddamn, pagan doctrines with the scriptures. Are you out of your mind? You get your authority from the first pope. First of all, Peter wasn't a pope. All right. Peter was an apostle, which became an apostle after his discipleship. He had nothing to do with the Roman Catholic Church. The Bible has nothing to do with no Roman Catholic church. The word Catholic means universal, means to turn into one. This knowledge, even though in the kingdom of heaven, the world is going to be forced to come back to well, actually not come back, but they're going to be forced to learn the ways of the Lord. There's only going to be one way, but the Bible itself is not a universal book. The Bible is a book of law, statutes, commandments, history, prophecies that belong to a particular nation of people, the Israelites. The only job that the nations play is that they're servants, slaves, and that the prophets are going to tell them what their judgment is going to be. It says, and whatsoever thou shalt bind on earth shall be bound in heaven, and whatsoever thou shalt loose on earth shall be loosed in heaven. See? So he had the authority that was given to him by Yahushua, who was given to him by the Father Yahweh. So it was passed on. So there's only one way. There ain't two ways or three ways, or all right, these 20 different groups, they all got a piece of they all got a piece of the key. One got the handle, the other one got the end of it, the other one got the little part that sticks out at the bottom of the key. No. One key. And a part of those keys are what? The names of Yahweh and Yahushua. Because if not, then why did the Lord say, he that calleth upon the name of the Lord shall be saved? We know that the name of the Lord is not Jesus or Christ or none of that. God, Jehovah. We know that the Most High's name is Yahweh and his son's name is Yahushua. These are the keys to the kingdom of heaven. And when you bring this out to certain individuals, they bend over backwards to dismiss the names of Yahweh by Shem Yahushua. I'm talking about the IUIC. They fight tooth and nail to push the names of Yahweh by Shem Yahushua out, to try to justify, the law, statutes, and commandments, which there's nothing wrong with keeping the law, statutes, and commandments. We're supposed to the best of our ability, but the names of Yahweh by Shem Yahushua are important. Very, very important, seriously important. That's part of the keys. But yet, call them out of their name, and they're ready to kill you. You better respect their name. Don't call them out of their name or else. But you can call the Lord whatever you want. You can call him Yo Plate Yogurt. You can call him whatever you want to call him. But just as long as you make sure that you say their name and put some respect on their name. It's fucking unbelievable to watch. And some of you are just as simple as you want to be, following behind these individuals. But that's the path that was given to you. If you're a part of the elect, the Lord's going to snatch you out of that slumber that you're in, that zombie slumber. It says, well, let's look up this word keys. It should go back to the word kleis, which now this fucking thing is acting up. It's all right. Let me type in keys. See what if we can get it this way. Yeah, it's just okay. Here we go. Yep, kleis, same thing. Should be the same. Yep. Let me see. It goes to the root word klio, and the word klio means to shut up. Metaphorically, to cause the heavens to withhold rain, which is one context of it, to shut up compassion so that it is like a thing inaccessible to one, to be devoid of pity towards one. That's another usage of it. To obstruct the entrance into the kingdom of heaven. And that's the main one we're dealing with. That's the context that we're dealing with. To obstruct. What does it mean to obstruct? To put something in the way, an obstacle in the way, so that you can't get, you can't get to the desired goal, which is what? The finish line, which is the kingdom of heaven. Obstruct, block an opening, path, road, etc. Be or get in the way of. And that's what them wicked Pharisees and Sadducees were doing. They were getting in the way of the entrance into the kingdom of heaven, beginning with the keys of the names of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, and also dealing with the true gospel of Yahushai, which is only one way. This is why Yahushai said, beware of the leaven of the Pharisees, which was talking about their doctrine. It wasn't talking about anything else. It was talking about their doctrine, because they had a doctrine, but the Lord has a doctrine. And that's the spirit, because the elder just put the precept on up, which I was thinking about, because there was a brother. I'm not sure if he was Great Millstone or if he was somebody that listened to Great Millstone and just happened to approach the IUIC. I know Grandpa knows. Salaki, bro, we mess with you, my brother. We love you. Where they stepped in them. I don't think it was the bishop. You better put some respect on his name. That I don't think he was there. I think some other IUIC members were there. And the brother brought the scripture out, St. John 17:6, to prove that the Lord brought the name of the Father. But they quickly dismissed that. He put his name up, he put his word above his name. Yeah, meaning that he's not going to break his word, not even for his glorious name's sake, because he's bound by his word. That's what that means. But you guys are, no, the Lord's name, it's not important. We don't have the name. Wow. St. John 17:6, I have manifested thy name unto the men which thou gavest me out of the world. Thine they were, and thou gavest them me, and they have kept thy word. See, they have kept thy word. And what did he give them? The name. Shows you that those names are important, man. Those are part of the keys, the beginning keys. Man. So it says to obstruct the entrance into the kingdom of heaven, which Luke 11:52, woe unto you, lawyers, for you have taken away the key of knowledge, which shows you there's the key of knowledge, which is what? These are the instructions. You enter not in yourselves, and them that are entering in you hindered. So you shut it out. You shut them out. Let me get this other one, and then let me still got these here. I don't know if I'm gonna go back to these. I think we finished with this one, so let me go here. All right, Revelation chapter 3 and verse 7. And to the angel of the church in Philadelphia write these things, saith he that is holy, He that is true, he that hath the what? Key of David. He that openeth and no man shutteth. Meaning what? Openeth the gates into the kingdom of heaven, which is the knowledge. Right? It says, and shutteth and no man openeth. So either the Lord opens the doors for you or he doesn't. It's all good. Grandpa. Hey, brother, that's an affectionate title, brother. You know, hey, trust me, brother. If we didn't like you, we wouldn't even say anything. You know, now, but we love you, my brother. It says, and shutteth and no man open. That picture look crazy as hell. Oh, shit. I said, he that openeth and no man shutteth, and shutteth and no man openeth. Now, matter of fact, let me continue here. It says, I know thy works. Behold, I have set before thee an open door. And see, an open door. Yahweh shall open the door, and no man can shut it. For thou hast a little strength, and hast kept my word, and has not denied my name. So not only did he give the disciples the Father's name, but he's saying here that I got the keys. I can open, I can shut it. But I left the door open for you because you have not denied my name. Because what was one of the main things they did to the disciples? They beat them. They persecuted them for teaching in that name of Yahweh Shai. So they threatened them. And then they beat them. And they rejoiced in that they were counted worthy to suffer shame for the Lord's name. Now, what ain't that a hell of a spirit to have? Can you imagine that? Now, what I want to do is jump down to I think it's the 18th verse. No, 20th. Straight to the point. Matter of fact, I started at 19. As many as I love, I rebuke and chasten. Be zealous, therefore, and repent. It's like that picture's still up there. Every time I look at that picture, I start cracking up. It's like a grandpa. He got a bald head, just a little bit of hair on the sides. You know, it's like it. So it says, and that's another thing too. You know, pay attention to the scriptures. Listen to what the scriptures are saying. Listen to, you know, the admonitions and the warnings and the instructions that are given, because Yahweh Shai is telling us, the disciples are telling us the things that the men of the Lord, the women of the Lord will go through for this word's sake. The Lord, you know, constantly rebuking and chastening, you know, you're constantly going to go through hardships, but we're not going to be forsaken. See, these are nuggets of wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. And it's part of the anchor to the soul, which a lot of individuals miss because they're too consumed with themselves and they're too consumed with the spotlight. Me. Yeah, you know, oh man, yeah, Daniel's 11th chapter and, you know, in Revelation 17. And give me that scripture, brother. Yeah, man. Yeah, that's going to talk about, you know, that's talking about the Renaissance period. And when you break the word down, yeah, that's all beautiful. But why are you doing what you're doing? Is it just to get accolades, you know, to get a praise, which a lot of you, that's what you're here for. But things like this, you forget, you know, denying yourself. Something as simple as denying yourself. No, fuck that. Nah, the brother did me wrong. Nope, I ain't accepting it. Nope. Nah, I ain't gonna take the low road. I'm taking the high road. You know, we'll never ever, you know, suffer for righteousness' sake. You know, but when it comes to get them the goodies and the praise and all that, oh, you all over it. Whoever the Spirit's making me say this, so wherever this fits, you better take them shoes off and get another pair. It says, behold, I stand at the door and knock. If any man hear my voice, and that's the point, not everybody's going to hear. Why did he keep saying, he that hath ears to hear, let him hear? And open the door. So if you hear the Lord's voice, open the door. I will come into him and will what? Sup with him and he with me. Meaning what? The Lord is going to keep continuously feeding you through that open door, the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, which are the keys of heaven, beginning with the names of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. Now, when you go to this word sup, which Elder Apostle Gabar was the first one I heard go into this. The word there is dipeneo, right? It says to sup, and that's all it says, right? Because when you go here, it's feast, supper, it says there's some supper on the table. If you took some of that, I said, I forget how it goes, so like I messed it up. That's a line from a movie. All right, now I done messed it all up. Right here in the Thayer's Greek lexicon, it says in an allegory, because that's what it's speaking about, an allegory. I will make him to share in my most intimate and blissful intercourse. See? Meaning what? He's going to reveal things that only he would know, him and the Father would know, which are the keys of life. Read St. John, the 14th chapter, the 15th chapter, the 16th chapter about the Comforter. And pretty much that's Yahushua saying, look, if you do what I tell you to do, then my Father and I will come pretty much and sup with you in so many words and reveal these mysteries to you and open things up to your understanding. And you see, brothers, sometimes they have no clue of what they're going to speak on. And they'll just hit the camera, they'll hit the button and just go to speaking. And before you know it, all kind of thoughts and scriptures and all kind of stuff goes through your mind. And sometimes there's so much going on that you can't remember all of it. But that's the Lord supping with us. Because our job is to what? To when the Lord sups with us, to put it out there to feed the sheep and the lambs. And right now they're very hungry. Well, they should be fat. The sheep should be fat because they've been eating for the last, really for a minute, but during the YouTube era, going back to 2007. So what's that? About 17 years now. So you should be fat as a heifer. All right. Now let's go to Proverbs chapter 1. I started 1. The Proverbs of Solomon, the son of David, king of Israel, to know wisdom and instruction, to perceive the words of understanding. And this is the key, to know wisdom and instruction, to perceive, meaning to be able to, grasp spiritually the words of understanding. Let's go to the word instruction. And this is one thing Esau hates, is instruction. The word there is masawar. All right. I'm sorry, mawasar. Ma is over from, wasar has to be, okay, discipline. Let me see. Yasar. Chastise, instruct. Right, because when you are a disciple, right, you are a student. The word disciple comes from the word discipline. When you're being disciplined, it hurts. But you're being disciplined in a certain way so that you can eventually master that discipline, and then you yourself become a teacher where you discipline others. So that's what the word yasar is, and wasar is of or from discipline, pretty much. Discipline, chastening, correction, discipline, correction. So when the disciples were disciples, they were being disciplined by the Lord as the students. And then eventually they got to the point where when Yahushua went back to the Father, he put the full Spirit on them. And then they got the understanding, and they were already disciplined. So when they became apostles or teachers, they already knew what was going on. They became masters at their craft, at their profession. All right. But they had to go through the discipline first. They had to go through the instruction first. So to know wisdom and instruction, to perceive the words of understanding, because wisdom and knowledge is nothing unless you have the understanding of it. See, and that's the application. When you apply knowledge and wisdom, that's where the understanding comes in. To receive the instruction of wisdom, justice, and judgment and equity. Yeah, because at a point, you brothers that's out there, once you learn these things, you learn to be what? Judges. to know, to be just, to bring the right justice and the right judgment, and equity, to bring balance. Because when there's an altercation between brothers, sometimes if they can't figure it out, other brothers have to step in to be the judges and to set that thing back right, to set equity back right, to set the balances right back. It says to give what? Subtlety to the simple, right? Because we were all simple and we were given subtlety through these words of wisdom, but it came through instruction, and that instruction came through discipline. To the young man, knowledge and discretion. Yeah, because young men are known for their vigor and their strength, but a lot of young men they lack the experience. That's why a guy is good at memorizing stuff and shoot everything out. Yeah, man. You could call any scripture you ask for, he got it. He remembers all the stuff. But then when it comes to a point where they have to judge certain things, they run into a roadblock because they don't have that experience. But they have the memory because they're still young. They have that memory where they can remember everything. But yet sometimes when it comes to making decisions on the spot, they can't do it. Like I'm going to give you a story. Hate to bring him up, but it's the truth. Element. That man, he was very wise. He knew shit that you'll never use in your life. I mean, he knew all kind of stuff, but he wasn't spiritual. See, he wanted the booklet, so to speak, on how to be a leader. Being a leader, there's no booklet on how to be a leader. You either are or you're not. Being a leader pretty much comes through the experiences that you go through. Sometimes you make decisions that are not correct, but instead of beating yourself up, you get mad, but instead of beating yourself up, you say, okay, well, I got to learn from this. I can't make that mistake again. Bottom line, and that's how you learn how to be a good leader. First, by being a good follower. Second of all, by the experiences you go through. From what you learn, you apply that to certain situations, and then every time you go through those experiences, you build up more and more of your leadership qualities. But this individual, he wanted the booklet, so to speak. How do I be a leader? Like he wanted something that he can actually read tangibly so he can memorize it and be a leader. It don't work like that. See? So it says, a wise man will hear and will increase learning. You can't learn if your mouth is constantly running. That's another thing too. Some of these guys got verbal diarrhea of the mouth. They just can't stop talking. And then their talk is me. It's all about them. Yeah, and I did, when I did, and I'm, and me, and I. Them guys like that, I'm like, oh my God, won't this guy just shut the fuck up? That shit pisses me off. Guy that's always talking about himself. Man, I've been around guys like that. I'm like, oh my God. Just a guy that just can't turn the trap off. Like a little kid. Like I remember my oldest son, when he was a boy, when he first started learning how to talk, he would just talk. I said, yo, man, why don't you just shut up, man? Can't just talk all the time, My man, Yish, the Yish man. That was a name that was given to him by Elder Apostle Rakal. A wise man will hear and will increase learning, and a man of understanding shall attain unto wise counsel. See? It says to understand the proverb and the interpretation, the words of the wise and their dark sayings, but that takes time. It takes experience. The word experience, X is out. Peritas, where you get the word experience from. Peritas means to try. So the word experience is to try out. So how do you gain experience? By being tried out. You go through certain things, okay, and then you take the goods from it and you discard the rest. Now you're experienced in that field, whatever it may be. You've been tried out. So that's why experiences, I choose experience over book smart. And what I mean by that is if you give me two individuals, one that's book smart and another one that has been, experienced by actually having hands-on experience, I'd rather that individual than the one that's book smart. Even though the one that's book smart can give you quotations from different parts of whatever you're learning, but the guy that has a hands-on experience, he's more qualified because he's actually been in the mix. It's just like a guy, you have a guy that read about and saw movies about war, and he gets a high position because of his experiences and and book smart and all that. But when he goes actually out to the war, he has no experience of what the hell to do and gets his whole platoon killed. You see? But then you have a guy that doesn't have the smarts like him, but he's been out there in the field. He's been grinding out there. He's a grunt. He knows his way around. He knows, the right decision to make. He has battle strategies from past wars, so on and so forth. He'll be better qualified to get the platoon through there with less casualties than the individual that only has book smarts. You see? Hope it's making sense. Says the fear of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua is the beginning of knowledge. See, so the first part is what? Beginning. The beginning of this is the fear of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. And if you say that the names of the Lord is not important, you do not fear Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. So it says, but fools despise wisdom and instruction. And that's why these guys that's why you had Bishop, King. I got to get some more titles, for this guy, man, because, the equestrian, knight of knights, Sir Loin of Dukenhams, he said, I scorn when I hear those names, Yahweh Shai, because I know evil is there. You know what that was? That was the demons that was in him that was making him say that. Because years ago, he wasn't feeling like that. He was breaking that thing down beautifully. And when we brought it up to his attention, he said, yeah, that was the best breakdown. I never heard him break down. This guy is just full of himself. But it is what it is. If the blind shall lead the blind, if the blind lead the blind, they shall both of them fall into a ditch. So it says, my son, hear the instruction of thy father and forsake not the law of thy mother, which is this truth. For they shall be an ornament of grace unto thy head. And also, you have, honor your father and your mother, and chains about thy neck. My son, if sinners entice thee, consent thou not. Why? Because broad is the way that leadeth to destruction, and many there be which go in thereat. All right. If they say, come with us, let us lay wait for blood. Let us look privily for the innocent without cause. Let us swallow them up alive as grave, as whole and whole as those that go down into the pit. We shall find all precious substance. We shall fill our houses with spoil. Cast in thy lot among us. Let us all have one purse. My son, walk not thou in the way with them. Refrain thy foot from the path, for their feet run to evil and make haste to shed blood. All right. So pretty much I'm going to leave it there. As the name of the title is, you got the wrong keys, man. And the main keys is the names of Yahweh and Yahweh Shai, and also the proper and only and true gospel, which we believe here at Great Millstone that we have 100% truth. So with that, I pray that your brothers and few sisters have been edified. Till the next time I say Shalom.